Good afternoon, teachers. I'm here to present to you the implication of our initiated ADM SLM to the ILP, or the Individual Learning Plan of the Teachers. I am Ms. Apomay Tinega from the DLR Aguinaldo National High School. The presentation of this implication has 5 contents. First, the objective of this presentation. Second, the overview of ILP. Third is the legal basis. Fourth is the parts of our ILP. And fifth is the details of the ILP. First, let's talk about the objective. The objective of this presentation is that we should show the relevance of the initiated ADM SLM to the Individual Learning Plan, or ILP, of the teachers. So we are looking for the relevance. So number 2, the overview. I would like to quote this famous adage from Benjamin Franklin, which states that if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. So here, I'll be presenting to you the importance of creating a learning plan. What is a learning plan? A learning plan is a tool that directs the delivery of instruction. This is the main weapon the teachers bring every time he or she delivers his or her lesson. Hence, this is, I must say, is essentially created to set the learning goals in relation to the required standards and competency. The memorandum states, in accordance with the directive of the Office of the President, that no face-to-face classes shall be held until the vaccine for COVID-19 becomes available, the distance learning delivery modalities, or DLDM, shall be implemented this school year 2020-2021. Pending issuance of the DepEd order on the policy guidelines on the implementation of learning delivery modalities for the formal education, the Curriculum and Instruction strand at the DepEd Central Office provides the following suggested strategies in implementing and managing the DLDM. Further details of this individual learning plan is found in Appendix D. It's entitled Weekly Home Learning Plan and Individual Monitoring Plan. DepEd Order 42 Series of 2016, or the Policy Guidelines on Daily Lesson Preparation for the K-12 Basic Education Program, provides the legal basis of lesson plan preparation for the basic education. It indicates the necessity of lesson planning as a critical part of the teaching and learning process. That's on page 3. Each serves as a guide for instruction and contains details of what a teacher and learners will do in order to meet the required learning competencies. Further, the same order explains how the lesson plan should answer the following questions. First, what should be taught? Second, how should it be taught? And third, how should learning be assessed? Further details of the legal basis is in number 2. Given the new context for learning and the unique procedures in every modality, the weekly home learning plan shall be developed following these procedures. Letter A, refer to the most essential learning competencies, or MELCs, in different subject areas. Letter B, gather the self-learning modules and other learning materials needed for the self-paced learning mode. For instance, distance learning and blended learning modalities. Third, teachers are advised to adopt strategies that respect the unique context and diversity of learners in terms of their readiness, learning interest, and learning profile. Differentiated instruction may be manifested by giving respectful activities, interesting, engaging, challenging, through on-level tasks, above-level tasks, and below-level tasks to various groups of learners. This allows routes of access at varying levels so that every learner is appropriately challenged and comes away with pivotal skills and understanding. And In plotting the learning task, teachers should strike a balance between academic rigor and socio-emotional aspect of learning. Since the completion of learning tasks are done primarily at home, learners should be given the opportunity and flexibility to manage their own learning without sacrificing time-bound attainment of learning competencies. Now let's move on to the parts of our individual learning plan. So, as you can see there, Republika ng Pilipinas, Kagawaran ng Edukasyon, Rehiyon 11, Sangay ng Lungsod ng Davao. And with your school, mine is Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School, Lungsod ng Davao, with the logo of Davao City Division and Daniel R. Aguinaldo National High School. The matrix is entitled Instructional Learning Plan Matrix for Practical Research 2 for school year 2020-2021. So here, accomplished Instructional Learning Plan Matrix for Practical Research 2 for school year 2020-2021. So do not forget the headings, the logo of Davao City Division, and your school on the right side. So you have to include also the teacher's name. For instance, Apple May Tanyega, the grade level 12. Learning area, that's Practical Research 2 for quarter 1. For week number 6 to 7. For instance, module number 10. With the MELC, the learner illustrates and explains conceptual framework for common subject _ research subject for grade 12 for first quarter, week 6 to 7, learning competency number 6. The cognitive process of it is applying, and the sample introductory activity in Let's Try This is identifying the variables. My activity in Let's Do This part is completing conceptual framework. And for my additional learning activity, we have remembering key concepts or generalization part. And for the assessment, the students must illustrate conceptual framework in achieving our learning competency. So if you can see, in ILP, we have for the first 3 columns, we have module number, the MELC, the cognitive process. This can be found in the information about this ADM learners material. We have there the objectives, the content standard, performance standard, and learning competency, including the code. In the introductory part, that's reflected in Let's Try This activity, we have identifying the variables. So in our initiated ADM SLM, we have identifying variables with the instruction. The students are prompted with 2 items, 2 research questions, wherein they are going to identify the variables in the research questions. In the ILP, the techniques, strategies, or illustrations, which is reflected in Let's Do This, that's completing conceptual framework. So in our ADM, this is how it looks like. Also, the learning activities, further activities. In learning activities column, I have there remembering key concepts, or what I consider as the generalization, wherein the students will remember key concepts. This is also in consonance with the learning objectives that we target to achieve for this lesson. In ILP, there is a column there for assessment task, and in our initiated ADM SLM, it's found in Let's Test Ourselves. So I have it there, illustrating conceptual framework. Of course, this part should target our learning competency, or should I say, we should go back to our learning competency. We should review our learning competency if by giving this activity, we can target our learning competency. And if you can still recall, our learning competency is the learner illustrates and explains conceptual framework. So I have there in my instruction, recall your topic of interest and statement of the problem in the previous modules. Using those pieces of information, illustrate the conceptual framework of your study. It will be rated using the rubric attached. So I asked there the research title, statement of the problem, and another space for the conceptual framework. We can see this is a sort of a continuation from the continuation activity from the previous module, so that they can create somehow their own research work or research study from the title for up until this time, the conceptual framework. Now, if you will review all the parts of our initiated ADM SLM, we can really say that we have targeted the learning plan matrix. And I must say that this initiated ADM SLM of Practical Research 2 team is indeed a comprehensible module for the teachers and also for the students. Those are the parts of the ILB vis-a-vis the initiated ADM SLM. That's all. Thank you very much. And teachers, always remember, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Hence, we should have our learning plan, our individual learning plan with us as we start our lesson. Thank you very much. Once again.